Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you?
Hey, good morning. How are
Good.
you?
I'm making it so far. How was your night last night?
Pretty uneventful.
Mm,
Made
same
a,
as mine. Same
made
as mine.
myself a little steak dinner, made one for my dog, and then we watched The Burbs, the whole
Ooh.
Tom Hanks one.
Oh, didn't I tell you that's a great one, right? Did you
Yeah,
love it?
it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, Bruce Stern in who's the old man, the vet in there. He's my favorite character out of them all. He was just the best.
It was funny.
But love the Burbs. But today we have a special guest, a good friend of mine, a theater friend of mine, and now a published author. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Blake Matthews. How are you,
Hello,
Blake?
hello. Doing very well this morning, man. I had a good fun time last night, but I was just hanging out with friends. We ended up going to a restaurant actually, but the restaurant thing was kind of a little bit different because it had been raining and it should have been way more packed, but it was not. So it was kind of
Nice.
light for Valentine's. But people are doing, I think, their event on Friday and Sunday this year.
Yeah, because everything was a little well crazy yesterday. So and that rain coming through was killer. But let's jump into it. Let's talk. Well, actually, let's talk about how we know each other first before we jump into your newly published work here. So me and Blake did theater together for quite some time at the O'Kane Theater at U of HD. We both attended there, and we both got our undergrad from there. Correct? What was your undergrad in? I can't remember your undergrad.
Go figure. My undergraduate was in English literature.
That's right. That sounds right. And then you went on to get your master's also from UHD or somewhere else?
No, I got my master's of business administration and marketing from University of Texas at Tyler, but I did so remotely during COVID time,
Hmm.
right? And the remarkable story about it is that I had a bet with a friend at that time, our common friend Lauren Drake,
Hmm.
and at one point during everything being kind of put off and locked down, he called me up and he said, "Look, man, we can sit here and spin our wheels like everyone else, or I will write a book if you will write a book."
Mm.
I said, okay. I said, I'll write my third novel, you write your first. And what we did, we said 400 words per day. So 400 words, that's a page and a quarter per day until it's finished. And then if you dumped 2 or 3 days, then you owed 800 to 1,200 words, but that's only a few pages.
Hmm.
By the end of about an 8-month stretch, we had 80,000 word novels and it was finished. And the same
Wow.
day that I finished the novel, I officially got accepted into graduate school. And then I went shwoo, and I finished grad school in 1 year.
Bravo, man.
Oh,
Bravo. That's amazing. That took me it took me 2 years to finish my grad school, but yeah, good for
Well,
you.
and what was the name of your post baccalaureate? Well, not your post baccalaureate institution. Where you got your master's degree?
I can't get my chest up high enough, but it's St. Bonaventure University. Go Bonnies.
Bonaventure. I thought that was
Yeah.
right. And it's
So
up in the Northeast, isn't it?
yeah, it's up in not the closest major city is Buffalo. So you go fly into Buffalo and then you got to drive out an hour and a half to get to Bona. But it's in that Buffalo Niagara area. So love it. Beautiful country out there. I didn't think it was so beautiful out there.
They got a bona fide master's degree, huh?
Yeah, bona fide digital journalism, absolutely. But so tell us okay, so tell us the name of your book and what inspired you to write this book of poetry.
Okay, so the first thing is the title's a little tricky because I used an old English word from Beowulf, but this gave me product differentiation on Amazon because if you look up this strange word, nobody else but maybe one band in history of using this word on Amazon has it. But if you, so the word, the name of the book is, can you see that clearly?
I can see it clearly.
Okay, the name of the book is Scædugenga. It means shadow walker in Old English, right?
Hmm.
But if you look up the word shadow walker on Amazon, you're going to get all these crime fiction novels of every type because it sounds kind of too middle school. But this sounds like something else. And the best way to do it is to follow a link on Instagram or Facebook for W. Blake Matthews, where I have the links posted. And then I've also got wblakematthews.com because getting the title, like nobody is spelling that silly word.
No, that
And I
is
guess it
unique.
had to be kind of like this, kind of a weird word, but I wanted to kind of give it differentiation, and that has worked fairly well so
That
far.
is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You're very unique, and I would also even say, like, so that is also, if you go back to the story Beowulf, that's also in reference to Grendel, right?
Yes, because
Yeah,
Grendel is a shadow walker.
right.
Yes,
That's
correct,
right.
sir. Very good.
Awesome. See, I
Ding,
know
ding, ding. You
things.
won $1 million question, but I don't have $1 million. But yeah, and see, one reason for the title though was because of all my years of working in the industry and working on literature and stuff like that, that uh, I felt like I became a shadow walker because I could see things in the dark, kind of like having a cat's eyes, like
Mhm,
seeing things move in the dark in a way that other people can't. And I was like, I lived by night for several years as I was working on my first novel,
mhm.
right? And I took about 2.5 years on the first draft. And then the thing wasn't publishable because it wasn't that good. It was the first one,
Oh, what? You're
right?
first, I get it, you know.
It was your first. And my brother always laughs and says, "Well, maybe you just had to get that little story out of your system before you started the real work, little brother, big brother."
There
You
you
know.
go. There you go. So, but okay, so tell us a little bit about the poetry that's in the book, and then what got you into poetry and what inspired you.
Well, when it comes to this book, there's what I really like about it is that there is a narrative arc because it's considered the hero's journey. And
Mhm.
there are poems that have rhyme schemes and meter and form. There are some that are a little bit more free verse, and they go from, let's see, there are several sections, but like the first of them, there are a couple of storm poems in here. There's one that's about a night. The one that starts it is a knight in shining armor, basically.
Mhm.
Another one called the mausoleum, and then there are some that are almost like kind of like about breakup. There's some breakup poetry in here.
Oh.
We talk about the sort of despair of a relationship collapsing, and but that's not the only thing. And then there's some things about plague. Okay, then in this one subsection, the void, there's one that's called In the Name of the Plague, another one called Halloween 2020 Revisited. And then there's a next one, Between Anvil and Hammer with Purification Metamorphosis. Uh, there's a lot of different poems in here, and some of them reflect a more modern or contemporary view. Some of them are a little bit more classical in form. But anyway, I really enjoyed putting it together. Now I can tell you what really put the book together was that I'd been going to poetry nights up at Imprint in Montrose, on West Main for a little while, and everybody's like, "Wow, you're really writing some pretty good stuff. This is pretty good." I'm like, "Really? Okay, thanks." And then one of the guys that was in that community, his name is Chris Wise. He was the one that was on the radio show the other night.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
um, he said, "Hey, if we're gonna, I want you to participate in something called TLDR. That's too long, didn't read. Okay, it's a long form. Okay, and so what it is, you're supposed to write this long form poem with different movements, and I
Mhm.
wrote mine had like 7 movements to it, and I started to orchestrate a performance so that I'd be performing the art, but I hired a live painter who also did makeup to make us look like the band Kiss, and then I had a guitar, a drummer, and a painter. The painter was painting each movement of the piece. It was really cool, and then he said, "Well, if you're going to do this performance, you need to have something to advertise. You want something to peddle. Don't just show up there empty-handed. So let's put a book together." I was like, "Okay." And I had this huge body of work because I had written all summer and put all of my work together in tangible form and sent him about 21 poems, and 20 of them went into it. But I still had way more to work with. It's just that he gave it all a narrative arc and put it in a certain order to make it into the hero's journey.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So, which of the poems in your book is your favorite?
I think it's the one called the Mausoleum because so much went into it, and I wrote it. It was written several years ago, but it's really one of my very favorites because it's telling a very different story about people that just basically party in a graveyard.
Totally not what I was thinking, but okay.
No, not at all.
Oh, but that sounds cool. That sounds very cool. Uh, Roxy, you got another one for him?
So who are your favorite writers? Do you have
Well, I mean, obviously, with some of this type of content, one of my favorites is Edgar Allan Poe. Now, oddly enough, I went to Edgar Allan Poe Elementary, so by proxy, I always had a taste for his work. And anyway, and that was a place where we were sort of conditioned for the arts and stuff like that. And um, what was I saying? Oh, well, and anyway, I mean, this is a very personal thing, but every now and again, I'll go to my father's grave and I'll read a psalm out of the Bible, but then I'll read a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe work, like Annabel Lee with a Kingdom by the Sea, and this sort of thing. But I'm also kind of influenced by a lot of classics like Shakespeare and Geoffrey Chaucer. We were talking about him the other night, and then big into Beowulf. But I also have some contemporary stuff. I have a huge collection of contemporary poetry from people that I've known in the city who sell their books too, and kind of buy books from each other, right? And so I'm kind of curious about what they have to say as well. And a lot of them just have really beautiful words about dancing in the forest and stuff like that. Just really good imagery. If you ever were to go to something like Imprint, it's almost like this intoxication of beautiful words around you. Just really, it adds an ambiance. And there's so many different voices, so many different people with different things to say about whether it's social dynamics, nature imagery, conflict, dynamic. Everything about it is really just cool because this is the longest running poetry night in the city every first Friday. And they've been going since like 1975 or 1976.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's been going as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I may not have been born yet when they started doing it, or maybe it
I,
was the
I
same year I
was.
was born, one of the two. But you were like one, maybe. Like, and see, there were people who started that from the creative writing program at U of H Central for the Master of Fine Arts.
Do
Mhm.
me a favor. Go ahead and plug Imprint for me. Just tell us a little bit more about them because it seems like it means a lot to you,
Oh yeah.
and why not? You should. So tell us a little bit more about Imprint.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the thing is that you can go to some poetry nights that are really, really casual, and sometimes you get screamers and groaners and moaners and angry people and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that Imprint has more seasoned writers. Got people who've been writing poetry for 50 years or something like that. You get these people that might get up there that could be like in their late 70s or in their 80s or even beyond going, and it's like, wow, this person's been doing this their whole life. They are incredible, and everyone is so talented that gets up there. And there are a couple people that are a lot younger because it's all ages and varieties
Mhm.
of people, but even some of the younger people are pretty good. Like there was a young woman who got up there last first Friday of February.
Mhm.
She got up there and she actually had some good work as well, and a lot of these people come in as educators or people from the school and college systems, and some of
Mhm.
them are like professors, some of them are teachers, some of them are teaching assistants. A lot of them are usually associated with the education side, but this is what they do in their spare time.
Nice. So let's jump into this real quick. So, me and you have shared a stage a few times in our life. So, and you said Shakespeare was one of your uh, inspirations. Do you have a particular Shakespearean work that you really like? Like which one of would be your favorite play, or maybe even your favorite sonnet,
Okay,
if you have one?
there's there's two. Okay, my
Mhm.
favorite play is probably Hamlet. I love
Of
Hamlet.
course.
And it's because he's got that sort of dark vision kind of cast in his
Hmm.
lane, and
Yeah.
he can't get out of this bad situation. He can't go raise that army. Of course, I would argue that he could have raised the army when he got taken by the pirates. Whenever he rode with the
Hmm.
pirates to get back, why did you go back home instead of raising the army and attacking your
Hmm.
stepfather and mother?
You're right.
Right? But that he's always just like cast down. He's upset. He's sad, and it's kind of this sort of dreary piece. And it's not. And I think what's remarkable about a lot of Shakespeare's work is that he kills off so many people, even in
Oh
Romeo and
God,
Juliet.
yeah.
It's like, you little murderer, man. How many people did you kill because you love that girl so much, right? And with Hamlet, it's
Exactly.
like, I killed him, I killed her brother, she died.
Yeah.
It's like, well, welcome to like medieval, like everybody dies. I mean, I
Exactly.
think
I mean, technically, even in the end, he kind of killed himself too. He led up to everything that even killed him. So yeah, everyone dies in that one.
oh yeah, everybody dies and it's a bloodbath. But I mean, in truth, they say that the medieval era was really bloody. Life was short.
Yeah.
That's why the way that the crown of England even now has very specific rules. Because in one year you could be king and then you die, and then your three brothers are each king in turn, and they die, each of them a year later. So
Yeah.
all four brothers are dead, and the niece becomes, or the nephew becomes the king. It's like, yeah, and that all happens in 5 years. Like everybody dies off. You get an abscess tooth. There is no medical technology. You're dead because your tooth screwed up, man. Yeah. But my favorite poem was probably the one called what was it? It was My love is as a fever, longing still. It was one where at the very end he says, "For I have sworn thee fair and thought thee bright, who art as black as hell, as dark as night."
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Love it.
Okay.
Isn't that
Is it?
is it Sonnet 71?
I can't ever remember
I
what
can't
number,
remember
but
myself.
it's one. It
I
was
know
one
it,
of my
I know it's the one, it's
favorites.
one in the 70s, in that 70 range, because that's where he starts talking about the dark-haired woman who in
Yeah.
reality was someone that he really was kind of like falling in love with. But I can't remember which number. I mean, he had so many of them. Who can remember other than an expert?
Well,
You
while
know?
he was with the city dweller, sounds like a lot of the time he was just having a great time.
Yes,
You know?
no, honestly, really was. No, I have to say, so my favorite Shakespearean play will always be Midsummer Night's Dream. That's just such a drug-induced play. I love it. I really love it. But the other, that's just one of my favorites of him. But kind of jumping into it before we get a little further and out of control down this amazing rabbit hole we're on. Um, if someone is interested in getting your book, where can they purchase your book at? Where can they find it?
Well, there's a few different places you can
Hmm.
find it easily. I've made my Facebook and Instagram profiles public,
Hmm.
so it's under W Blake Matthews. You can follow me on Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook. And the first thing you see when you open the page is a link to my book that will take you straight to Amazon. And
Perfect.
that's really the best way to get it, because this word is very hard to spell. It has special characters and stuff like that. So it's better to find the link and go about it that way.
And for all of our listeners and watchers who are interested, we'll have a link in the description. So just click down below and it
Okay.
will take you to his websites and his social media so you can get that book if you're interested.
It would be
So,
fantastic. Did
absolutely.
y'all want to sample one of the poems?
Yes, please
Yes,
definitely read
please.
it to us. Absolutely.
Which one do you want me to read? I have a few of them in
I'm gonna
here.
I'm gonna go with Mausoleum because
Yeah.
yeah, you already caught our interest on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's
Well,
not too terribly long for you, absolutely do it.
so interestingly enough, the mausoleum is only the second poem in the work.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so it starts off with that sort of I mean, it does start off with sort of death and despair even in the very beginning, but this one is the mausoleum.
Mhm.
When nightfall spreads its lengthy shades and twilight makes its faint farewell, footfalls shuffle through the glade and wander by memorial trails. Some gypsies dance in gardens long, beneath the pearl of heaven's vault, to meet with poets who sing their songs near earth and wind and fire and salt. This place that dwells in gardens green, with mortals laid to final rest, a morbid presence too, it seems, where spirits roam beyond the flesh. This destination deep within, a mausoleum fast and firm, where families lodge with kith and kin, the reaper's triumph then confirmed. The poets and gypsies then converge about this muted heavy tomb, to speak of nature's mighty scourge, amidst dejected cloudy gloom. And eventide they celebrate with Dionysus' witching wine, like Maenads in some twisted state, they conjure spirits from the vine. But as the eve then presses on, and embers from the flame recede, they know that they must soon be gone, and vocalize their parting creed. And often to the world they go, and break apart their brief sojourn, through hills and dales where fair winds blow, until they once again return.
Bravo. That was
That was
great.
nice. Yes.
I
So
think it hails to some of our party days in college.
I think that I could see that. I could totally see
You know,
that.
you can kind of see us all. Remember how we
Yeah.
would drink all that
Oh my
wine, and we would
God,
take out
yes.
the blades and start our
Yes,
business.
I remember drunken sword fighting. We
Yeah,
lived a bit of a wild life back in the
Um,
day.
I'm just glad that nobody really got hurt. But I think there was one night I wasn't wearing the mask, you know,
Mhm.
the headpiece.
Yeah.
And those little tiny fencing foils had gotten kind of whittled down to where they were sharp. And I've
Yeah.
got one little spot in between my eyes where somebody got me.
Yeah. I totally believe that. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember
it's like,
all
oh
of
yes, let's get drunk and fight with swords because that's a great idea. It's called, 14th century Verona. Come on
There
now.
you go. Why not? Let's do it. Yeah, we did a lot of fun, crazy stuff back then, those theater nights.
Mm-mm.
But Blake, so we only got a couple of minutes left. I just want to thank you so much for being part of the show. We're going to definitely get our listeners to click on those links and check out your book. There any departing thoughts you would like to leave with us?
Well, I would definitely appreciate the support from everyone within the community here. And I thank you for inviting me onto the show. I really have enjoyed it very much. The time did go a lot faster than I really expected it would, but this is lovely. I like all the artwork behind you there, Rich.
Yeah, thank you. All
That
my
looks
little
like
Funko
really the
Pops.
quintessential set. It's got to be the set building with you,
Yeah,
doesn't it, sir?
exactly. Well, thank you so much for being part of the show, Blake. As always, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you've been watching VCR.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.